I think for me, we talked about discovering needs. Thank you for sharing it. But that's the whole point. I think for me, if we don't really engage and understand those needs, we're not going to get anywhere. I think the art of communication is about transmitting, but most importantly, receiving. And I believe at the moment we train them to deliver message, not to ask questions. We should be training them to be truly curious about those customers and understanding why they're saying what they're saying. Think about yourselves. If somebody phones up from a double glazing company, how often do you think, interesting, but I'm now going to put the phone down? I know I've done it. Because they don't ask you any questions. They don't listen to what your needs are. And I think this is the whole point. Don't think that communication is, if you give the information, it's definitely been heard. For me, I heard something about communication is not being something that can't be understood. Communication is not saying something that can be understood. It's about saying it in a way so it cannot be misunderstood. And I think that's fundamental. So I think when we start to look at communication, we need to be making sure we're training and getting our reps to ask the right questions so that they know how to maneuver the call. And at the moment, as I say, over 50% are telltale. So what is it we're doing with our first-line sales managers to encourage this behaviour? I had a really interesting one. I'm trying to set up standards for field visits across Europe. Have any of you ever tried? It's a brilliant question. How many days in the field should our average first-line sales manager spend? Yeah? The interesting bit is not the response. It's the next question that comes back, which is, do you mean coaching or being out in the field? Hang on a minute. If they're out there in the field and not coaching, we have got to start to wonder what they are doing, because it doesn't take that long. I've seen great coaching interactions take 10 to 15 minutes. So if you can actually truly say you've spent a whole day in the field, 8 hours, without coaching, I think we've got a big issue on our hands as an industry. So to me, that's what communication's about. So I would put it to you, the future is all about how do we get curious? How do we really start to engage and make sure people do this? I know from a few years ago, we started to do this in the UK. At one point, I was working in the UK, and we worked very hard on productive questions, really starting to understand the needs. The brand went from third line to first line in about 2 years, which you could say is good. Honestly, I think it could have been even better, because fundamentally we missed the first line sales managers. We didn't really get them engaged on how to coach on productive questions. We coached the field force, and I believe you need both to really get the substantive change that we need that can be repeated again and again. So to me, the future belongs to the curious. We talk about key account managers, whatever type of representative. If we can get them to really get into their customers' shoes, I think we're in a much better place where we start to add value to our customers rather than just giving message after message. But if you think about this, this has some fundamentals underneath it. How does it change market research? Do we do any market research ever saying, what was the question the representative asked you that changed your mind? Or do we actually say, what are the 3 messages and which one's most important? How are we going to really make sure that our representatives in the field force can ask the right questions to get their outcomes? I think that's key. Why is it happening? It's very simple, isn't it? It's what we've measured the whole time. We've measured coverage and frequency. We've measured sales. When we've done detailed follow-up, we've done it on messaging. We have ticking boxes to check the quality. Have they delivered the message? We don't ever capture. How many field visit forms have you ever seen that says good use of questions? Yeah? It means nothing. Because the point is the representative can't go away the next day and repeat that question. He can't go into a customer and goes, I've got some good open questions. What's your need? It doesn't work like that. We need to get much more specific around the questions that are being asked and translate that into an outcome. And that's when I think we can raise our bar.